What would you do if you discovered someone had been living in your attic? Not for days, not for months, but for nearly a decade? Most people laugh at that question. But for Fred Oesterreich, it wasn't a joke. It was the secret that cost him his life. Fred was a wealthy apron factory owner in the early 1900s, respected, successful, and known for his sharp business mind. To the outside world, he and his wife, Walburga Dolly Oesterreich, looked like a picture-perfect couple. A beautiful home, a thriving business, a comfortable life. But behind the polished exterior, their marriage was crumbling. Fred drank heavily. Dolly felt lonely, ignored, and increasingly resentful. Their arguments were frequent, their silences even louder. And then came the day that changed everything. A teenage sewing machine repairman named Otto Sandhuber arrived at their home. He was young, shy, and eager to impress. Dolly opened the door wearing nothing but a silk robe, and from that moment, the affair ignited like a match dropped in gasoline. It was reckless, it was obvious, and it was dangerous. Neighbors started whispering. Fred began asking questions. The visits were too frequent, too bold, too impossible to hide. And that's when Dolly suggested something so bizarre, so unthinkable, that it still shocks people today. She told Otto to move into the attic, and he agreed. He quit his job, climbed into the cramped crawlspace above the Oesterreich's bedroom, and began a life of total isolation. He read books, wrote pulp fiction stories, and waited for Dolly's signal to come down. At night, he crept through the house like a ghost, doing chores, fixing things, and returning to the attic before sunrise. Fred heard footsteps. He noticed missing cigars. He felt watched. But Dolly always had an explanation ready. Years passed like this. A husband living below, a secret lover living above, and a wife balancing two worlds with terrifying precision. When the Oesterreichs moved to Los Angeles in 1918, Dolly insisted on choosing a house with an attic, rare in California, but absolutely necessary for her double life. Otto moved in before the couple even arrived. Fred grew paranoid. He told friends the house was haunted. He felt something was wrong, but he couldn't prove it. And then came the night that shattered everything. August 22nd, 1922. Fred and Dolly were arguing, loudly, violently, the kind of argument that shakes a house to its bones. Up in the attic, Otto froze. He believed Dolly was in danger. He grabbed 2 pistols, rushed down the stairs, and confronted Fred. A struggle broke out. 3 shots rang through the house, and Fred collapsed, fatally wounded. Panic set in. Dolly and Otto staged a burglary, a sloppy one, but desperate. Otto took Fred's diamond watch. Dolly locked herself in a closet. Otto tossed the key through a crack and scrambled back into the attic, unseen. When police arrived, they found Dolly trapped, the house ransacked, and Fred dead. But something felt off. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing valuable was taken except the watch, and Dolly's story felt rehearsed. Still, with no evidence, the case went cold. Otto fled the attic and disappeared into a new life under new names. Dolly moved on with new lovers, new homes, and Fred's insurance money. For 8 years, the truth stayed buried, until jealousy cracked the case open. Dolly's new boyfriend, attorney Herman Shapiro, discovered Otto's existence. Dolly panicked and confessed everything. Shapiro went to the police, and the story exploded across the country. The newspapers called Otto the Batman, the man who lived in an attic for nearly a decade, descending only at night, trapped in a twisted love triangle that ended in murder. Otto was arrested and charged with manslaughter, but the statute of limitations had expired. He walked free. Dolly went to trial next. The jury couldn't reach a verdict. Her charges were dropped. Both of them escaped justice. And Fred? Fred became the forgotten victim, a man who never knew someone was living above him, listening to every argument, every secret, every moment of his unraveling life. A man who died without ever learning the truth. A man whose story still stands as one of the strangest, most unbelievable cases in American true crime history.